That'd be great.
Come on, my grass isn't going to cut itself. Let's get going.
Wow.
It's
All right,
not.
wait. Hold
Scott's
on.
like, enough of the innuendo. Let's get started.
If you want to swing back up here and
Guys,
take care of the yard, that'd be great.
before we do the official start. All right,
There we go. Get
edit us in.
suit up, Avengers.
All right, start it.
It's been started. I get all this. I'm not
No,
I'm not
do
gonna
the-
miss you spilling all your stuff all over your keyboard
God
anymore.
damn it. Do the intro.
Hello, and
There.
thank you for tuning in to the Subtle Nerd Podcast. My name is Steven.
I'm Tony. Stark. I'm Tim.
I'm Scott.
Today we're gonna start our foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're gonna start not with episode 4, but with the first one, Iron Man from 2008.
Are we doing Star Wars?
Eventually, yes, sir, we are.
Episode 4?
We're gonna do them so hard.
There we go. Hold on. Now I can hear you guys.
Ah,
We'll start with the best one, the Last Jedi.
indeed, I
And
think that's exactly where we should
Good.
start.
signing off, folks. Have a great day. I can't drink in this thing.
I can't breathe in this thing.
Well, I'm not drinking my tea.
So, I definitely wanted to talk about some fun cameos that were noticed throughout the film. Some that I just found out yesterday as I was watching it again, and talk a little bit about maybe some similarities to the comic book counterpart of Mr. Stark, and see how they incorporated some of those features into the films. But overall, this was a really fun movie, and I thought it was a really great way to kick off the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some nice extra cameo at the end to get the Avengers Initiative going, which was just a delight. Like this whole thing, like they were setting up this universe for 10 years. This movie came out in 2008, and we finished off with Endgame in 2019. So like 10 to 11 years, they were setting up this entire universe for us, which was a great experience for all the fans, I feel, overall. Now, there were some movies that were like, I don't know that we needed them. But all in all, some major hits.
Yep,
Good.
I agree. No, I do agree. And this one kind of snuck in too. Like Iron Man wasn't, well, it was a huge hit. But we didn't realize the plan, Favreau and Feige had for everything past Iron Man. This one actually, personally, this one kind of snuck into my nerd world. I was busy in 2008. I was going to college. I was working full time. My oldest was born in January of 2008. So I didn't, this is hard to admit. I didn't know about this movie until it came out on Blu-ray. When one of my coworkers came in one day, and she's this little old lady, she's like, "Tim, would you be interested in this?" I said, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I guess so. Sure. I guess." She didn't have a Blu-ray player. She had a DVD player. So took it home, waited a couple days, watched it, and I was like, holy crap, what is this? I don't even think I knew there were bonus scenes at the end, like in the post credits. And then that started me down the path. Like it was probably after Incredible Hulk came out, honestly, is when I finally did see this. And I've been in ever since. All in.
Bought your helmet right afterwards. Like, yep, this is me now. It's my life now.
Yep, that's it. Wear it to bed. Carrie gets pissed. Whew.
I'm sure. Tim, goddamn it.
Mhm.
You should put a picture of yourself on the front of the Iron Man mask, so that way.
I don't need to. The front comes off. See?
No, but
No.
you're missing the fun, Tim.
That's
Missing the
true.
fun.
I am missing the fun.
You are. So
What were some of the scenes that stood out for you as like that were super good in your eyes? Either of you.
So it's not militarily accurate, but that ambush scene was really cool.
Oh, the right in the beginning.
We
Yeah.
went right into it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And that was a great setup by Favreau, doing that first and then doing the past stuff and then getting back into the current. It was really cool how he set that up. Like, he didn't even go that far in the past when he,
36 hours.
yeah, not long after that, or before that, I should say. And then we got right back into it, got into the movie where the movie started, and then just took off, and the rest is history. But yeah, that ambush scene is cool. So you're saying not militarily accurate, Scotty?
Yeah. That's what
Thanks
I'm
for
saying.
thanks
That's
for the
great.
clarification.
Thanks for expounding upon that.
How
Yeah,
so?
you're
Like,
welcome.
how would you have done that attack?
So it's actually listed under the goofs on IMDb, right? So that it says US soldiers are specifically trained to never stop when ambushed in a convoy. So that's where I borrowed that from.
So
Ah,
the vehicle should not have stopped. The vehicle in front of
Correct.
him was incapacitated, right?
Yeah, he could have gone around it or something. I don't know. But
Hmm.
I don't
I don't
claim
know.
to be an expert on military tactics. I was reading the goof.
Okay, that's interesting, and it makes sense. Yeah, because they're sitting ducks right there. Why would they stop?
Indeed.
Especially
Right.
with a man of high profile like Tony Stark in there.
Yeah, I agree. But
Mhm.
yeah, I did really like that opening scene. And then there's this one more than any of the other two. I think there's more kind of like magic moments hit, right? Like, for building the first suit, escaping. That was an awesome scene as well. The
Mhm.
V1 of the Iron Man suit. I can only imagine how heavy that would be if you actually made it in real life. Maybe that'll be a project that we can start, is to build
I
our
think
own.
I think you should.
You're in charge of the
Um,
power supply. I'll build
got it.
everything else.
Got it.
You got an
it,
arc
it,
reactor laying around, don't you?
it towers his house.
Yeah.
Let me see if Harrison has one real quick. Harrison?
I love
No,
our running
Nope.
gags.
No,
no,
he doesn't.
he does not have
Arr,
it.
leave me
No.
alone.
I don't have that. The only thing I didn't like about the Mark 1 scene was after he sets all of their armory on fire and blasts off into the stratosphere, he runs out of power and he reaches terminal velocity for sure and smashes into the desert, and he's like, all right, time to go run off into the distance.
Yeah, he shakes it off.
No, sir. You are not a squirrel. We
didn't-
think you definitely reached terminal velocity after hitting that height.
You didn't see the cushion in there that he put, like all the pillows.
Yeah, he put leather in there because like when the 10 Rings commander was holding the mask up to his face, you can see the leather that he put inside to shield him from the flames. Inside of the mask, that was not cushion. He broke every bone in his body.
I mean, what are the chances he'd land on a cushion in the middle of the desert? It's pretty remarkable in itself.
Absolutely.
Kind of like the cushions that he fell on in Air America, Scott, when he dropped from the helicopter
Indeed.
with Mel Gibson.
Indeed.
They left that in the film.
Hmm.
Anywho, that was my only gripe about that particular scene. Otherwise, I thought it was fantastic. We got to see some point of view action from Iron Man in the Mark 1 suit. The really cool flamethrowers. He had like that makeshift missile, and he's doing the wild things on the armor itself. It's not like pressing buttons or saying Jarvis do this. He has to physically do a lot of that stuff to get the armor to work and to do his little weapons tirades. So I thought those were really nice touches as well. And the sounds that it was making from all the actuators. And then there's I'm just gonna ramble on. And
Go.
then the scene in the cave where he's bashing all the bad guys with his metal hands, but he swings so hard it gets stuck in the side wall. And he's like trying to get it out. I thought that was a really cool detail. Like, not everything is gonna go perfect, and you're swinging so fucking hard that you're gonna get like just jammed up. And he's like, oh crap, the plan's gonna fail because I'm now stuck in the rock because I swung and missed. I thought that
Sorry,
was a really nice detail.
My earbuds went out. Can you repeat that real quick?
Yes, I will.
No,
I will
no, I
repeat.
got you. I got you. You
I'll
don't want to
repeat
put
all
me out
that.
back to sleep. So yeah, no, those details are good. Kind of like 3PO in all the Star Wars movies. Like every movement he has that little sound, and they did the exact same thing for the Iron Man suit, which is great. It makes sense because the power is moving that, not Tony. He's not strong enough. There's no way.
And they definitely kept in like the herky jerky movements of that too. Like that was not smooth movement because to Scott's point, it's so heavy. Like even with the actuators, it's like, oh, this is like an act of God. And that's why he was a sweaty mess getting out of that thing.
Yeah. That is
Nice
probably like
details.
100 degrees in the desert.
And I think
yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. turned out to be perfect for the role of Tony Stark, even
Oh
more
my God.
importantly than Iron Man.
Yep.
He just
Yep.
nails it. I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of what he's like in real life a bit too. But
yeah, you see him in the interviews. He's very much like that. Like there's not a ton of acting going into that. He's quick-witted. He's snarky. It's great.
Or did he just embody Tony Stark?
Which is also possible.
He hasn't been able to escape.
I mean, played it for what, 14 years?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then he was finally, please kill me.
And
make
I made enough money. I've got all the money I need.
Yeah, I liked all his little like even in that opening scene that Scott pointed out, like where he's just going back and forth between the three soldiers, like all his little one-liners, like every word every time he speaks, it's like a little one-liner that everyone's like, like the soldier who was driving. Oh my God, you're a woman. Now that I'm looking at you, I can't keep my eyes off you. You have fantastic bone structure. So that was amusing.
Yeah, absolutely. So how you guys doing?
Doing great.
Great.
So with the comic books themselves, Tony is portrayed as a raging alcoholic in the comics. They touch on it a little bit, like they feature his drinking heavily here, and they have it in Iron Man 2. There's the whole drunken scene with him and Rhodey like that, but in the comics that's like prevalent enough to where they consider it a weakness of his, is that he's battling these personal demons through alcoholism. And they touch on it lightly in the films, but don't really take a deep dive into that.
Wasn't there a full bar in the Avengers Tower too?
There was, and he's poured himself a drink as he's walking down the stairs to confront Loki.
Yeah.
He's got the good stuff in his office where Obadiah is confronting Pepper when she's trying to steal all of of his secrets. The opening scene, he's got the rocks glass full of the whiskey. So he's drinking throughout the whole thing, but it's never, they don't take the deep dive into that. Like, oh, he is a raging alcoholic, not just like he's just a rich dude who just drinks.
Mm-hmm. So I wonder if Disney was like, you know what, let's cut this little detail, because the reason he drinks in Iron Man 2 is because he's going to die from the blood levels, the poison in his blood, iron, if you will.
So his solution was to add more poison to his blood.
Yes.
You know what? That's what you do.
The cause of and the solution to all of life's problems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was Homer. So what else did you guys like? What scenes really stood out that you felt were super well done that you really got a kick out of?
I thought Jeff Bridges did a good job.
Oh my God, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
That dude was not happy with Tony Stark at all. The dude was very displeased.
Indeed.
No, nothing. Got it. Roger that. I'll see myself out. Moving on. Yes, Jeff Bridges killed it. Like perfect menace. Just that like hawk stare that he's got.
He's a great actor.
He's phenomenal.
And his something about, like, there's very few voices that I like could just listen to all day long. Obviously Morgan Freeman, but Jeff Bridges has that kind of, he's got that deep, throaty voice, and he's got almost a lisp, but not really. could listen to the guy all day long.
So you got a recording of him and Morgan Freeman talking back and forth that you listen to every day.
I have my next AI project now. Thank you very much.
Scott, take a note. AI project, merging
They
their
said-
voices.
There was one of the trivia things in the IMDb as well. So Jeff Bridges said he felt uncomfortable not having a script or rehearsal since normally he's very prepared and knows his lines word for word. Realizing it was like he was in a $200 million student film, it took the pressure off of him and made it fun. So-
Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Like they were writing on set
Yeah.
the script like the entire time. Of course, they had, the skeleton of the idea, excuse me, the ideas and stuff they wanted to do. But yeah, the actual script itself was just like on set.
Wow.
Handwritten notes and stuff.
Hmm.
Here's a stack of napkins. Go read these.
Hold on, give me the fifth one. I gotta rewrite that one.
It's really cool that way too, though, because then you really get the actors to get their specific interpretations of the character in the moment.
Mhm.
I think that's a delightful way to go about it. And Jon Favreau directed it and
Yeah.
had his little cameo because he's Happy Hogan.
So I was gonna bring that up. It's talked about as a cameo. Is it a cameo?
Nah,
It's,
No,
don't
I
think
mean,
it's a cameo.
no, it's not.
kind of in the first one, but then he just really makes it his own character and all of the other stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He doesn't say a ton in the first one, but
Yeah.
He does not.
he's still there. I see cameos, of course, Stan Lee.
Like
like
Stan
somebody-
Lee, yeah.
Yeah, somebody making like a really quick, like one-off comment, and then that's it. Go on. We never see him again. But yeah, I don't know. I
Or
know it's
just
This
all
one, he only
smiling,
had like
dressed
2
like Hugh
scenes in the
Hefner.
first one.
he only had 2 scenes in the first
He
one.
only, that's all I remember is he did when they were going to the airport.
Yeah.
And they were kind of racing. He's like, "Oh, I thought I lost you back there." And he's like, "You did, sir." That was like, I don't recall him
And
being,
then
oh, he drove to
needed-
get the Burger King.
the burger. And then he was at the end, right?
Yeah. So like 3 scenes.
Okay, 3. You were wrong. So I'm just saying.
Wow. Fake news, Steven.
Somebody just watched it last night. Mhm.
Wow.
So did you watch it with the family? Was the family entertained?
Just me and the missus, and
Okay.
she likes it.
Yeah, good.
But I was entertained because I hadn't seen it in a bit. I
Mhm.
remembered it very fondly, and my opinion did not change as I was watching it again.
Yeah.
I think my biggest gripe from watching it before that was not as big of a deal watching it again was the final fight being in darkness, because
Yeah.
that's what they did for the whole first phase of MCU, was the big battle was in the dark. So you don't
Mhm.
really get a sense of, like, everything kind of blends in. I guess it's better for the CGI if everything's in the dark,
Saves a lot of money on the special effects.
Mm.
because this final battle was in the dark. The Incredible Hulk's final battle was in the dark.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
like Thor, the major battle was on Jotunheim, which is
Mhm.
a dark world. So they did a
Avengers.
lot of stuff in the dark.
Yeah, absolutely.
The nighttime is the right time.
Goodness.
I know. But that was not as big of a deal for me watching it again. Like, I was more interested kind of in what's happening, because when I remembered it before, for the final fight, the Ironmonger, I thought, was beating on him enough to where the armor was flying off. But now I remembered it correctly when watching it again. He's like, "No, I got to get out of this thing because it's only got 4% power." So he starts taking the glove and the mask off, and then
Mhm.
is fighting with just one weapon on his hand.
Yeah, like hiding around the corner and
Yes,
yeah, kind of
he's
reminiscent
stealth Iron
of Return of
Man,
the Jedi.
sneaking around like Batman.
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
All right, good. I like this. Good. Terrence Howard as Rhodey.
Yeah.
I
His one and only movie.
loved him as Rhodey. I thought it was a good dynamic between him and Tony. I understand there was, what was it? Was it a monetary thing for him not to return?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, you touched on how well they interacted together. I like these two, like Terrence Howard and Robert Downey Jr. better than who came in later. I just think they had such a lot better like one-on-one. Terrence Howard does a really good. He plays off Robert Downey Jr.'s character very well as an actor. So yeah, I think it was money. And then when Terrence Howard called Tony, doggone it, Robert Downey Jr. for help, Robert was like, you know what? I think he ignored him, didn't he? Is that right?
I don't know. I'd love to find out more about that.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
he
I thought
was
their
not.
dynamic was really great. Like, especially on
Yeah.
the airplane where they're going back and forth. He's like, you don't respect yourself, so I know you don't respect me. This is not what we're here about. He's like, it's your
Mhm.
deep, like, and then they're sitting there like drinking back and forth, and he's like
Mhm.
giving his whole speech, but they're sitting right there, like in close contact, going back and forth. And I thought that
Mhm.
was really cool.
He did get drunk on the airplane too. I forgot about that. Thank you for the
The
reminder.
the sake,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
sake.
Yep.
Yeah, I would love to read more about like why exactly he departed. I wonder if it says in the in the wiki.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Um, so yeah, Terrence Howard did great. Peter Billingsley. I know you were going to
Yes,
talk about cameos in a bit, but
Ralphie,
Peter Billingsley, which nobody recognized
because he
right away.
shaved part of his head.
Right. Yeah. Little Ralphie from Christmas Story. Peter Billingsley, who would eventually come back in Far From Home. Is that right? Spider-Man Far From Home? I think that's right. He
Did
came
he?
back. Yes. So he's still in the MCU. His character's still alive because he was in on that whole thing with Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was in Far From Home. I just double
Um,
checked.
yeah.
Yeah, the same character, William Ginter Riva.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in. He made all those like flying contraptions and everything. He had a
Nice,
little score to settle. So yeah, he's still around, which is kind of cool. We
fantastic.
get we get
How about
introduced
Tom
to.
Morello?
So
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
I didn't.
either.
I knew they did the soundtrack,
Who did?
but not that he did a cameo.
Tom Morello, he assisted with the soundtrack.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Huh,
I did
all
not
right.
either until yesterday.
Oh,
I was yesterday years old, and then he cameoed as one of the agents that gets killed by the Ironmonger. So
Okay.
he's one of the five with Coulson, if I am correct here.
Hmm. Oh, Coulson.
Oh no, a terrorist guard is what it says here.
Morello guard is all that
Guard.
pops up on IMDb. Yeah.
As a security, oh no, he's a cameo in the film as a security guard who gets killed by the Ironmonger.
Okay.
And they say perhaps fittingly, since Morello is a member of the band Rage Against the Machine. IMDb's got jokes. A
Very
fitting
nice.
end to his rage.
All right. So we mentioned Agent Coulson. Clark Gregg did such a magnificent job. His time was it was up too soon, but it made sense. It made perfect sense.
not to jump us back around here, but there is a
Yeah.
line around Terrence Howard
Oh,
that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
although has never formally commented on the issue, according to insiders, the role was recast because director Jon Favreau was reportedly unhappy with Howard's performance, which
Oh,
often necessitated reshoots. Howard himself later admitted that he declined because he was offered a much lower salary to accommodate Robert Downey Jr.'s increased paycheck.
Hmm. So yeah, Robert Downey Jr. only made 500,000 for the first Iron Man movie.
Because his reputation was kind of in the toilet at the time, if you recall.
Right. So did you see how much he made for Iron Man 2? What that jump
A lot
was?
more than that.
Well, yeah. $10 million.
well, yeah.
Yeah. From 500,000 to $10 million. That's a hell of a jump. And if Terrence Howard wanted a piece of that, I guess they didn't think he was worth it. I don't know. I liked him a lot.
And they reference that a smidge in the first part of Iron Man 2 when he meets Don Cheadle's roadie.
Mhm.
Huh, what are you doing here? It's me. I'm here. Deal with it. Let's move on.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I did like that.
I thought that was like a very clever, like fourth wall break almost.
Mhm. Yeah. Like, look, audience, here we are. We changed the characters. Let's go.
It's another good one here. Rachel McAdams was actually the first choice for Pepper Potts, but she
Ooh.
turned it down.
I could have been definitely into that.
I'm sure.
Well,
Yeah, I mean it's no Wedding Crashers, but you know.
it's true.
But she did get to work with Robert Downey Jr. in Sherlock
Mhm.
Holmes. Yeah.
I'm trying
She
to
was
think.
in Doctor Strange as well.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. I was trying. I don't think she had any other scenes with anybody else. Like, she wasn't at the funeral scene, was she?
No.
Later on, way later on. Don't want to spoil it for everybody.
Yes, the movies that have been out forever. Let's not ruin this.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry, spoilers abound. We are more than a few minutes in here, but yeah.
Did you see who was offered the role of Tony Stark first?
No, who did they offer it to first?
Tom Cruise.
And that's why they kept hounding him to be for the multiverse of madness to play that alternate Tony Stark.
I didn't
Because
know that.
he was
talking-
rumored to have been cast as Tony Stark in the, where they meet the Illuminati.
Yeah.
It was rumored that Tom Cruise was going to be Tony Stark when they meet for the Illuminati. That was like a
Interesting.
big rumor that was circling that it was going to be Tom.
Huh.
I think Robert was a better choice for a
Oh
Tony
yeah,
Stark.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Tom Cruise wanted a little bit of control with the character. Not unlike Edward Norton, who wanted control kind of during and after the Incredible Hulk shot. Like, they didn't realize that, I guess, in the beginning of the movie. They probably would have recast him right away, just like this. But yeah, so I do have a quote. Is an interview with IGN. Tom Cruise opened up about why he turned the role down. Marvel came to me at a certain time, and when I do something, I want to do it right. If I commit to something, it has to be done in a way that I know it's going to be special. So he just wasn't mentally ready, I guess. It's kind of what that sounds like.
I feel like for him, he loves doing his own stunts and he loves providing that real aspect for his films. Like, since he does a majority of his stunt work, like that's Tom, like flying off the side of a cliff on a motorcycle. That's not a stunt double. That's Tom.
Oh, yeah. And yeah. Yep.
And
And he said, oh yeah, go ahead.
No, please.
So the last part of that quote, I need to be able to make decisions and make the film as great as it can be. It just didn't go down that road that way. So he wanted to make the decisions, and Feige and Favreau are like, you know what? We're in charge, pal.
Well, because he's got that strong personality and he does that for a majority of his films where he's like, if you want me, this is what you get with me. And
Yeah,
I need to
he
have
was
that
upfront.
autonomy.
Yeah, he was right
So
up
it's
front
good that
about
they
it.
had that conversation and they're like, that's not what we're looking for. And Tom's like, cool. It's not like he lost
not
some
hurting
measure
for
of
roles.
success because of that.
No, not at all. And he did
Like-
open up and say he does now. He's ready. He wants to be a part of the MCU. So I guess it's just finding the right role for him, which could make sense in phase 5 and beyond. Maybe we do get a Tom Cruise alternate Tony Stark somewhere. I mean, they've already opened up that door.
That would
But
be
yeah.
fantastic.
He'd want to make some decisions.
'Cause I love Tom Cruise. The missus is not a fan.
Really?
But yeah.
I think he does a really good job in everything that he's in.
I mean, he and Pluto are pretty much just out there. They kind
Pluto?
of just do their own thing.
Wow. He
Yeah,
and Pluto.
Yeah,
like the yellow dog
they're out
from
there.
the
That's
Mickey
exactly what I mean.
Yes,
yeah,
that's what he was talking about. The yellow
exactly
dog.
what I mean.
They're
The
so out
yellow-
there.
I
Yep.
don't get the yellow dog reference, but all right.
No.
So with Iron Man, with this film, I liked the building of the armor. I loved the testing of the armor scenes. where he's testing he's like, oh, we're just gonna go 10% power for the boots, and he flies backwards into the wall.
Mhm.
Oh my God. There was a couple of clips that I was gonna pull up here too, just so we can
Those
get some.
robots were hysterical that were helping him
Dude.
build things.
The
Oh, and
arm.
he's riffing off the robots too.
Right.
Yeah.
If you douse me with this. So that was, I like that he was mad at the robots that he built. So that was amusing.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we'll do a minor share here, just some fun. So hang tight here while I pull this up. Talk amongst
Yeah.
yourselves. I'll
Which
give you a
which clip
topic.
which
I'll
clip do
give you a
have?
topic. I just have him testing. Just testing.
Okay.
Bounty Mega Roll. 4 roll.
I know, right?
I love seeing your desktop. That's great.
God blast it.
You douse me again?
So a lot of
Fun,
this
right?
movie, I know Favreau wanted to use like more real stuff, not as much CGI for this one. So a lot of what you see there was actually him. It was actually like the stuff strapped to his legs and arms. Later they went to more CGI because he couldn't see in the helmet at all. Like he was essentially blinded in this movie. I did see that. So yeah, in the later movies, they told him, "All right, put on the helmet," and he's like, "No, can you just put the dots on my face and put it in later?" Which they did.
Give me the
They
dots.
accommodated. Yeah,
God damn it.
yeah, because he was just blind. I know he had a little bit of issue with that on this movie.
I loved like his little corrections. It for me, it added to the realism of it.
Hmm.
Like he's like really kind of shaky because he's flying for the first time, and how many people get it perfect the first time? So a lot of corrections, and when he's landing, he kind of falls backwards. He does that both times where he's like, almost losing it.
Yeah, it was a very well done montage.
Yes, really nice touches.
Yeah. Absolutely. So who else was in this movie? We missed we started talking about Clark Gregg. The incomparable Clark Gregg, who really was kind of an unknown, kind of not. He like I think the only thing I remember him from, he was on a show with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Oh, and I don't remember what the show's name was called now off the top of my head, but he was on a show with her.
Seinfeld?
Not that one, a different one.
The New
Something about
Adventures of Old Christine.
Christine, yes, something about Christine. I know he was on that with her, but really nobody really knew who this guy was, and he just comes in, minor role, little bigger role, a little bigger, and then all of a sudden he's like full blown like Agent Coulson in Avengers, which is awesome. But yeah, I loved how he portrayed this character that was or was not in the comic books. Steven?
I don't recall
I don't think
him
he
being
was.
in the comics.
I remember seeing or reading that he was not in the comic. This character was not in the comics. If we could get confirmation of that before we tell our viewer that he definitely.
Oh, come on. We got more than one. Tim.
He was in The Usual Suspects.
Clark Gregg was?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Where was he in The Usual Suspects?
Dr. Walters.
Okay. Now I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've
Yeah.
seen that too.
He was in We Were Soldiers. He was in a couple things before that, but
he's
yeah,
he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh,
Is he?
Oh,
knew he
that's
did
so
something.
fun.
You could have gone a lot of ways with that one.
I was wondering what was going to follow.
Are you gonna go back to us grappling? Is that what we're doing here?
You're not wearing the right shirt for that, so no.
You're right. I'm wearing a shirt. We can fix that. We'll just
Nope,
take
nope.
it off, right. Oh,
Here it comes, ladies
the moment you've been waiting for.
and gentlemen, if you want.
Uh,
And he was married to Jennifer Grey for a while. So I know they had a fair, according to his social media, which I do follow him, they had a pretty clean divorce. They still support each other, which is very cool. They post about each other on their social media pages. They raise a daughter, I believe. But yeah, no, he just seems like a great guy just to go out, have a spot of tea with if you're
Spot
into
of
that.
tea.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't before, but
Spot.
now I am.
Mm-hmm.
So with your question about him being in the comics, I'm
Yeah.
seeing here, this is just a brief look-see. He was put in the comics after he portrayed Agent Coulson in the films.
Okay.
Kermit the Frog in a cowboy outfit on a mug.
Yes, it
Looks
So,
like
yeah, so they
2012 is where they started adding him in to the
Really?
comics.
Huh.
I'm just doing like a brief overview because I don't remember him in the comics prior.
No.
No, he
No,
was added
no.
in afterwards because he was so popular.
Yeah, no, it did a great job. And the little, not like sexual or anything, but the relationship he and Pepper Potts had throughout those first 5 movies, when you saw them together, was great. Like she was all into him and like being part of the Avengers, and like not that I know any of that stuff. Oh, Scott's typing.
Scott's typing. He's into something. Get him.
Or he's got the bubble wrap. I can't tell.
He got into the bubble wrap again.
Again.
So yes, Clark Gregg, and then he was on Agents of Shield after that
Yes.
to do a nice main role.
Made himself a nice little home there for 4 seasons, something like that. I started pretty strong with that, and then I just couldn't keep up with it. Got a little too goofy for me.
I couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
I
First
got a
season was
couple
great.
episodes, and I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
that this is my jam.
First season was great when they started aligning things with the movies. It was awesome, but the problem with that was you had to see the movie opening weekend to not have spoilers in the episode the week after. I think Thor 2 was the big one I saw. Like we saw that in the theater, of course, but then the week after they were in charge of cleanup in London, where that final battle took place. But it was just kind of like, oh, okay. And I thought about that. I was like, for the people who haven't seen Thor yet, this is kind of a spoiler, but whatever. And I think they stopped connecting the movies shortly after that because I wonder if other people had the same issues. All right, Flanders.
Oakley dokley.
What are you doing,
They're
Scott?
managing left-handed stop.
What are you doing,
What?
Scott?
No, not your phone goes.
Guessing.
What?
I think he's talking to you.
Harrison.
Harrison, what's going on here?
Harrison's busy with Indiana Jones stuff right now.
He is.
Yeah, oddly enough, he's signing a bunch of hats and putting them in boxes right now.
I'll be right over.
Fedoras.
Let me help carry some boxes out to my truck.
Yeah. We have strict instructions not to let David Blaine back in the house.
Things were disappearing.
He scared Harrison. You should watch
He
that
did.
at one point.
He did. That was very funny.
So what else did
So-
you want to talk about the movie? Any other favorite scenes that stuck out to you that you really enjoyed?
I mean, just him being snarky and witty and just being Robert Downey Jr. made that movie what it is. He just like the casting was great. I can't think of anybody else who I would recast for like the main characters.
No.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
And he was the perfect leader to the Avengers that could come in, do his thing, and get away with being kind of playboy philanthropist, total jackass sometimes.
Yes. And that's
But he
the
knew.
that's the growth that we get to see over the 11 years of
Mhm.
movies, right? Where he moves on to be to give the ultimate sacrifice. And they hinted at that in the first Avengers movie when they're having the back and forth with Steve.
Mhm.
Like, you're not the guy to make the sacrifice play. You're not
Mhm.
the guy who's going to do it.
Hmm. Yep. And that combined with like that photographic memory where he learns everything overnight that he needs to for the next day. It was perfect. Very good. Did nobody else do their homework? One of my favorite quotes from Avengers.
Finally,
Or
someone who
was
speaks English.
So he had a pretty, I mean, I don't remember him being in a lot of movies, but looking at his filmography on IMDb, he was in a ton of stuff
Oh my
before
God, dude.
he came into the universe. Like little things here and there, sometimes big things, but you didn't really hear about him too much, especially because he got in a little bit of trouble before, cleaned himself up.
I've been a fan of him because he was in Weird Science with
Mhm.
with the small role there. He was
Yeah.
in oh my God, like
Air America is where I fell in love.
Air
Air
America
America.
with him and Mel Gibson.
Mhm. Very similar personalities in that. Like
Oh,
really
that
quick
was
talking.
so fun.
Mhm.
He's in Back to School.
Mhm.
Oh my God, now I'm like looking at all this. Chaplin, he
Wasn't
got a lot of
he?
accolades for.
I remember loving him in Natural Born Killers as the interviewer, the
Yeah,
reporter, right?
Australian wine
Mhm.
gale.
And then, of course, Tropic Thunder and Iron Man come out the same year. Tropic
Oh my
Thunder,
God.
I think that for me, I heard about that. We saw that. We watched it. Great movie. Him and Tom Cruise are in that movie.
Yes.
um, yeah, but then you kind of look at what he was doing after 2008. He had a few things here and there. Like he started the Sherlock Holmes stuff. He did Due Date with Zach Galifianakis. But then everything kind of slows down and it's all like Tony Stark, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Iron Man. Like he didn't need to do anything else at that point. Like Marvel and Disney were paying his way. And I think he seemed just fine with that for a while.
I think so, especially since everybody loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he became the draw.
Yeah. Like I think even now, like he hasn't been in a movie for a couple years. Dr. Dolittle was his final movie credit. I mean, he's got some things in the pipeline. But after Endgame, he did Dr. Dolittle just to have fun. And now he's focusing on his his charity, his like global Green Earth charity, which he's made a ton of money for.
Looks like Sherlock Holmes 3 is the bigger one that he's working on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he wants to keep that going. But yeah, he did a private autograph signing where I think the cheapest autograph of his was like $600 or $700. 100% of that went to charity. He kept none of it.
Wow.
Every penny that he signed, because he'd never done one before, he hasn't done one since. All of that went to charity.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was very clear about that in his videos, which was very cool. I mean, he signed for days with that, and we had a poster in there.
Nice.
Guess what I got it on? You won't.
What'd you get?
Won't guess.
You won't guess, but guess.
I said guess. Spider-Man: Homecoming. I already had Tom Holland on there, so right now it's just Tom Holland, Robert Downey Jr. on that poster, which looks beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
a fantastic Tim.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, he's set up for a good while, and he's just doing passion projects and things that he likes, and good for him. I feel like he's earned that.
Oh, for sure. And I love that they're in a position to follow what's going to make them the happiest. I mean, that's a lot of what Blake was talking about during our interview with him as well. Like following your passion, your personal truth. I think that's where the magic happens.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So Scotty, other favorite things for you. What are you doing over there? You're so quiet.
What do you mean?
You're into something.
We mean you're not talking.
Show us your hands. Took a minute, but all right.
Didn't take a minute. Jeez.
Little too long there, Scott. Like, Jesus, wrap it up.
It must be the delay on the microphone.
That's big.
So we haven't talked about Stan Lee and the cameo in this movie.
F.
I mentioned it earlier. Yeah.
You did.
No, you didn't.
He did. That was Scott's line for the
Yeah.
for us.
It was.
I love Stan Lee's cameos. I love that he did that in as many movies as humanly possible.
Yep. Question. If
Answer.
Jack Kirby was still alive, would they have had him as a cameo as well?
Probably, but would you recognize Jack Kirby or would you recognize Stan Lee?
So he died 90s, I think. Jack Kirby did. Confirm
Oh,
that for
Lord.
me. I think it was early 90s. So he didn't have the opportunity to get the cameos and accolades like Stan Lee did. Stan Lee kind of came in with, we started to see his face outside of comic book lovers. We didn't start seeing his face till I remember Mallrats. And like we saw him in Mallrats. He had a pretty big speaking role in Mallrats.
Yes.
And everybody was like, holy crap, Stan Lee. And that's, for me, that's when I started to realize, like, oh crap, that's, he's the creator of XYZ, all these people over here. After that is when we started to see his face a little more in pop culture outside of the comic book world. So yeah, so I was wondering, like, Stan Lee gets credit for a lot of these characters, but Jack Kirby did a lot of the legwork to get these characters moving and out there. I know that's one big criticism of, the Stan Lee fans. Like, well, it was Jack Kirby that did this. I don't have any specific examples, but I know there's some animosity towards Stan and taking credit when Jack did a lot more work in certain cases. I'm not going to say 100%. So
you're a tracer, Tim. You're a tracer.
I am. You saw through it, huh?
Goddamn tracer.
So would Jack be in the limelight like Stan Lee, or would he be like a Peter Laird to Kevin Eastman and kind of take that back seat and go off and be happy with his money? Because Kevin Eastman's out there doing big things, having fun. Peter Laird's just kind of enjoying retirement.
Who was the artist?
Prince.
God damn it.
What? What do you mean?
Was it Kevin or was it Peter?
Didn't they both? They both inked, right?
There isn't
was
a
the
thing
tracer,
that Kevin
Tim?
Eastman will not sign, though, so his signature is worth what, like $5 now? Thanks,
Oh
buddy.
my gosh, that's all he does is sign autographs all day long. And he's doing all right with it too.
He is. That's
Jack was the artist.
Okay.
He passed in 94.
94. I knew it was 90s. Okay.
I'm kind of scrolling down through. He was with DC first.
Jack Kirby was?
Yeah, he was with DC Comics first and then went to Marvel in 1958. Because all the main Marvel characters like didn't get their start in like their own personal title, right? It was like, Amazing Tales or like some crazy thing like that.
Yeah.
But I guess to answer your question, would he have been as popular as Stan?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess we're not going to know, but I mean, because he was
No.
he was 76 when he passed in 94, so he was already getting up there. And Stan was, oh my God, so Stan was a bit younger, but not by much because Stan lived
Yeah.
in 95. So
Yeah.
but I think it's the face and the name of all the major Marvel superheroes. It's always, for good or for evil, was Stan Lee assisted. I mean, even he said, "Oh, it's me and Jack Kirby that did this." Meter and with Steve Ditko.
That sounds right. I think that's right.
Who were the artists for a lot of these? Yeah, Ditko, because Ditko did Spider-Man first, I believe, and then Jack did like Fantastic Four, Hulk, all the early incarnations of them, Silver Surfer. But yeah, I loved the popularity. But wasn't it kind of cool that all of this happened anyway? Because Marvel had been going broke for years. So
Yeah.
they licensed all of their main characters to all of these film studios who wanted to do films.
Hmm.
So that's why like Marvel Studios wasn't a thing, but Marvel Comics was going bankrupt. So to get some money, they licensed their characters to all these different studios. And that's why
Hmm.
it's been so tough to get all of the Marvel characters back in Marvel Studios, because other studios still own them. Like that's why Sony Pictures puts out all the Spider-Man movies, because they have the rights to Spider-Man. Universal took Hulk, Fox had X-Men, Fantastic Four. So they didn't have rights to these characters. Like they couldn't even say mutant in any of the Marvel Studios films because Fox owned the right to all of the mutants.
Hmm.
Couldn't even say it. So like when they brought Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver on for Age of Ultron, they're like the gifted ones, or was it the, how did they word it, Tim? It was either the gifted or the enhanced, something like
Yeah.
that, something along those lines, but they never outright said these are mutants
Right.
because
Right.
they
Right.
couldn't.
Right.
They were
No, they
bound
couldn't.
contractually.
Yep. There is a deleted scene, and we can get to that now if you want. Like right at the end, where we first see Nick Fury, in the end of like that final deleted or that final post-credit scene, where he's like, "I am Iron Man," and that's what we get. So, are you on screen sharing? Can I share, or do you
You
want to just
absolutely, let me click and make sure that you
take your,
can.
take your ball and go home?
Wow, listen to
No,
yourself.
no sharing.
Hold on. Please hold while I add you. Security. All right, you're good. I keep it locked so Scott doesn't show us any bears. But
I better be quick. Hold on.
I better
Settings.
be quick. It's too late. He's gonna do it.
Oh, got it. There it is.
I love that he kept his face in the circle in the center. Tim, you weren't, God bless it, you weren't fast
I
enough.
know. I know. All right. Can you see it?
Yep, we can see it. Hit it.
Punch it. All right. Here we
Punch
go.
it, Joey.
As if gamma accidents, radioactive bug bites, and assorted mutants weren't enough, I have to deal with a spoiled brat who doesn't play well with others and wants to keep all his toys to himself.
Who the hell are you?
Nice.
Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Well, what are we avenging?
Whatever the hell we want.
Whatever the hell we want. Yeah, he does mention mutants and they couldn't do it, right?
Right. No, they couldn't use that. And the bug biting Spider-Man.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
But that probably would have flown because it was, but if they, but I think the word mutant,
Yeah.
Fox
putting
would
the-
have had a cow.
Yeah. So I think they
mutant
wanted
cow.
to put that in there just in case, but then they couldn't get the rights back and they couldn't do it. And the lawyers were like, no, let's not.
I know they wanted to because it was exciting. They got the Hulk back.
Yep.
And then they made a,
Do they though? I think he's still with Universal. what's happening?
this guy.
I think he's still with Universal because they
Is he?
can't make another solo movie. They are bound against that.
But they added him in the TV series She-Hulk as an awful
They
version
did.
of Hulk.
They did.
Like, is he
That was
even
rough.
really Hulk anymore?
No,
I
no.
mean,
It's Banner. It's mostly Banner.
ugh.
But,
Wait
like,
till we get to
that's-
those movies. Jesus
He's
Christ.
allowed to be in other productions. I don't think he's allowed to have his own movie. So
And what
Planet
would they
Hulk
what would they
is-
even do with that
I-
for his
I mean,
own
they got
movie? Like, what would they
the
do with
Planet
that?
Hulk stuff.
They only touched on that in Thor.
They did, which
And
I
they
think was
only
their
touched
answer
on
to
that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Didn't
Absolutely.
Thor have a secret identity too? And that
Yes.
was never mentioned ever.
Donald Blake. They do mention it in the first Thor movie.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
Oh,
When they're trying to get him out of the facility,
mhm.
they're like, "Oh, his name's Donald Blake. He's an associate of mine." And they start asking Stellan Skarsgård all these crazy questions like, oh, why does he even look like that? Steroids. He's been an insane workout junkie. Yeah, but he's like, oh, and then he's taking him out. Oh, Donnie, you feel better now, right? They do call him Donald Blake. Because in the comics, it's Donald Blake walking around with a cane, but that's really Mjolnir. And when he wants to turn into Thor, he just like smacks it on the ground or whatnot, and then becomes Thor. But that's his alter ego. Like Thor even fucking needs one as Donald Blake. Like, why does he need to blend in? He's Thor, the god of thunder. He doesn't need to walk around with the mortals. Anywho, I'll change this to a Thor movie topic really quick. Got some feelings about that. Yeah, where they destroyed they have to neuter the most powerful folks on the team in order to make the other members of the team relevant. Because if you have Hulk and Thor on a team, what do you need anyone else for?
Right. That's what happened in Infinity War. Like, they didn't have him for the first part of that fight, and then all of a sudden Thor comes in after getting the new Stormbreaker.
Yeah,
and it's like game over.
And then that's a wrap. Like, what do you need anybody else for?
Right.
Thor, can you
Feel
take
like
care
they
of it?
contributed.
Yeah. Oh, they sure did.
Don't you know there was a participation trophy, right? So.
Yeah.
So more on that when we get to the Thor movies and the Incredible Hulk movies, because I got some feelings.
Good stuff. I do like the Incredible Hulk, though.
I also like the Incredible Hulk. I don't like the whatever it is that they're doing
now. Current.
Do you think Edward Norton was a better Bruce Banner?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% yes. Can you mute Steven Scott, or can we not?
Wow.
No, we can't do that. I 100% think that. I love Edward Norton. I love everything he's done, and I thought he was perfect in that first movie. The dynamic changed a lot. He got a little more nervous. He got a little more meek with Mark Ruffalo, which fit with where they wanted to go. But Norton played a good Bill Bixby, is what I'll say. There was
that's
a
what he
lot
was
of
going
callbacks.
for, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's what he was going for with that particular version of Bruce Banner, was the homage to Bill Bixby for the Incredible Hulk TV series, which
Can we edit this into the Incredible Hulk when we do that?
No, we can just talk about it again, but you brought it up, so
I will. I know. We're getting all off
in the
track.
interest of getting Steven to shut the fuck up, we're gonna not talk about
language.
Blake Robbins cussed 900 times in that interview, and you two turds didn't say one word. I say it one
call
time,
out Blake?
And you guys are like, oh, that's YouTube.
Hey, Blake, watch your fucking language. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Tim, for setting him straight when he's not here. You all sat there. Like,
and
yep,
I quoted
got it.
An Avengers movie with the language thing. Did Cap just say language? Come on, I'm quoting things.
I'm watching you.
You need a mustache if you're gonna do that.
I'm watching you too.
All right, so we talked about most of the movie.
We talked about most of the movie. I thought it was. Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. I'll shut up.
Are you done? No, I'm kidding. So we talked about most of the movie. It set up. It really didn't set up a lot as far as future movies go. It was its own standalone movie. Could have been its own standalone movie. Iron Man is now Iron Man, which is awesome. But the big setup was right at the end, and we saw a scene with Nick Fury. But I'd also have another deleted scene. We all know how the movie ends.
Tim, you are frozen on our screen.
I'm sorry,
quite frozen.
Oh, is it? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There he goes.
I look great on my end. Here, am I better?
You had your eyes closed and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was sleep talking, guys.
Who pressed the pause button on Tim?
I'll have to watch that later. I can be our one view on Spotify. So
we got more.
Did we? I told you. I lost my train. I'm off the train. I derailed. Anyway, so we hear about the Avengers
movies.
Yeah, Avengers Initiative. which is great. That was a perfect setup. They knew they were. I mean, hell, they were already making Incredible Hulk, so they knew they were going to keep going. But I guess they didn't know how far past that they were going to get. But I do have another another deleted scene, which I don't know if you guys saw this or heard about. Can I screen share still? Yes.
You absolutely
So-
can.
This was only recently, I think. Hold on, let me get this right. Favreau was on Jimmy Kimmel. That's what it was. And Favreau shared this gem of a deleted scene that they made. He knew this wasn't going to get made or put in the theater or put in the movie, but he wanted to get this made just for him anyway.
Oh,
Excuse me.
when I know what this is going to be. I have seen this.
Yeah.
I am Iron Man. You think you're the only superhero in the world?
Who the hell are you?
I'd like to talk to you about a business opportunity.
Who the hell are you?
Nick Fury, mother.
So Favreau did that just for him. He knew it wasn't going to get out. He did that. He just wanted that.
It's a very Samuel L. Jackson type of line.
Oh, absolutely. We almost get that line in the Infinity War as well. Almost. But then he's like dusted away as he's calling for Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
all we
You
are
got the
is
pager.
dust in the wind, dude.
Dust, wind.
Socrates.
Socrates.
So
So, yeah.
crazy.
When are we gonna do Loaded Weapon 1? I mean, come on
Dude.
now.
I was thinking about that today.
Come on now.
I was at Walmart thinking about how awesome that movie is.
Samuel
It's a
L.
great
Jackson is a comedic genius.
He is.
I'm
Does a
throwing
great
that
job.
out there.
He can do it all.
But I love the foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe because we've got some feelings to get
Yeah,
through.
absolutely.
Some
Yeah,
thoughts.
Iron Man's a great movie.
Iron
So
Man-
okay,
Yeah, I totally agree. Standalone.
so ranking the first 5 movies. Where does Iron Man stand for you?
Ooh.
The first 5
Scott.
movies ever, or
Yes, in the history of
Like-
movies.
When you rank this
Battleship
with,
Potemkin?
with Citizen Kane, Steven, where would you put him?
So for our viewers, we had Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Captain America. I'm sorry. Yeah, Captain America, Thor. First 5 movies. Where does Iron Man stand in those? Personally,
I'm
well,
gonna
you
say
guys-
it's at the
oh,
top. And
Okay.
I think it would be a toss up for me between this and Captain America.
Yep.
I liked Iron Man 2, but I loved Iron Man 1.
Mhm.
I think I would put Iron Man.
Who is it?
Wilderness girls.
Oh my God. Stop it. Who made that man a gunner?
Yeah,
Stop
we need
it.
to do that movie. That's such a
Oh
good
my
movie.
God, Scott. So after we got sidetracked, so I think Captain America and Iron Man are even paced with me. I really wanted to love Thor, and I think there was a lot of really good parts in Thor. Iron Man 2, there was some good parts in there as well. I love that we got War Machine as the introduction there.
And Black Widow.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I think I'd go a tie for Iron Man, Captain America. I think I'd put Incredible Hulk right underneath that. And then I would do maybe Thor and Iron Man 2 is kind of how I would do that. Scott?
In here.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
What's wrong? Nothing. Taking a
Taking a
shit.
shit.
Sorry.
I'm driving.
I love that movie.
When,
It's so
when
good.
we're done being sued by Samuel L. Jackson, that's the best scene you got was him on a toilet. Christ, Jesus.
Uh,
So yeah,
Tim,
it's
how
to-
would you rank them?
it's tough. It's tough for me with Scott here sharing screens and doing things.
It's tough. We cannot
it's
keep focused.
Incredible Hulk is my favorite out of the first.
Okay.
Captain America is like a percentage point behind that.
Okay.
And then I think we have Iron Man below. So it's like they're on the 1, 2, 3 pedestal, but the pedestals are like that close together.
Okay.
If
Fair.
that makes sense.
Fair.
Yeah. But then yeah, Thor and then Iron Man 2. Scotty.
Okay. Scott's
Well,
pulling
you
up
can't
another
hear it.
clip from Loaded Weapon 1. He is not interested in
he's
ranking
really
the
busy.
first 5 of the Marvel movies. Or Scott's gonna go totally rogue and be like, the best Marvel movie that came first was obviously Blade, nerds.
Yeah. Here we go.
yeah, it's true.
It was actually Blade 2, but yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's oh
That's what I
my
would rank
God.
first.
1966.
Yeah.
On that note,
Tim, suit up.
I think we did good.
You done good, team.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, thank you all to our listeners for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed a little bit of rambling, a little bit of movies that had nothing to do with Iron Man. I think we'll continue our foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I definitely got some feelings to get out.
And Loaded Weapon.
Got some coffee to drink through his mask.
Mhm.
So thank you all for tuning in. We were very appreciative and enjoy.